Welcome to Lingua Latina Tutorials with Mr. K. This is chapter 33, Grammatica Latina. As with the other grammar lessons, you should make flashcards for the pluperfect subjunctive. Put the meaning on one side, like to recite, pluperfect subjunctive, active, and on the back, the forms recitavisem, recitavises, etc. And do that for each one of the conjugations. Follow along as, first of all, read all of this aloud in Latin. Make sure you actually do read it aloud, and then come back and translate. First of all, follow along as I translate for you. Grammatica Latina, Latin grammar, the subjunctive, the pluperfect tense, active voice. Julius doubted whether the teacher had praised Marcus. Laudavisit is the subjunctive of the pluperfect tense, past pluperfect tense. The subjunctive of the pluperfect ends in isset, third person singular, which is added to the infinitive of the perfect infinitive without isse. Examples of this: when he had recited, when he had obeyed, when he had written, when he had heard. The father asked his son whether he had been a good student. Here we have indirect questions, and that's why we have subjunctives in here. Whether he had obeyed the teacher, whether he had listened carefully, whether he had written correctly, and whether he had recited beautifully. The son did not respond. Then the father asked from him whether he had been praised by the teacher. Here we have the pluperfect subjunctive passive. When the son denied that, therefore said the father, you were a bad student. For if you had been a good student, here we have past contrafactual condition, the teacher would have praised you. If you had obeyed the teacher, had listened carefully, had written correctly, and had recited beautifully, you would have been praised by the teacher. The son: even if I had been hardworking, the teacher would not have praised me. The father: what? Son: even if I had obeyed the teacher, had listened carefully, had written correctly, and had recited beautifully, I would not have been praised by that unjust teacher. The father asked his sons whether they had been good students, whether they had obeyed the teacher, listened carefully, had written correctly, and had recited beautifully. The sons did not respond. Then the father asked from them whether they had been praised by the teacher. When the sons had denied that, therefore the father said, you were bad students. For if you had been good students, the teacher would have praised you. If you had obeyed the teacher, if you had listened carefully, if you had written correctly, and had recited beautifully, you would have been praised by the teacher. The sons: even if we had obeyed the teacher, had listened carefully, had written correctly, and had recited beautifully, we would not have been praised by that unjust, unfair teacher. Here we have the endings of the pluperfect subjunctive added to the perfect stem. Isem, ises, iset, isemus, isetis, isent. And then for the passive, we have laudatus aum esemus esset, laudatii a esemus esetis essent. Imperative of the future: fight soldiers. Fight soldiers, singular. Fight soldiers, plural. Pugnato, singular, future imperative, and then plural. Pugnato, pugnatote is the future imperative. The imperative of the future ends in to, and tote, plural. It means nearly the same thing as the present imperative. So pugnato is pretty much the same as pugna, and pugnatote the same as pugnate. When you finish this grammatica, go back to the exercises to finish the chapter.